Hey, what's up you guys, and welcome to another episode of 30-minute check-ins. And on today's episode, I am really excited to be watching today's movie. Usually I just watch movies off of Netflix so that you guys are accessible to watch them yourselves. 30-minute check-ins is obviously a video that you can just watch, just like a review, like anything else. But you guys are also like able to join in and watch the movie with me if you want. That's why I usually stop at every 30 minutes. Usually when I'm watching a movie, I'll usually just set the timer to 30 minutes and then I'll just pop into the video to review it. So you guys are always free to watch the movie as well and then just set your timer to 30 minutes as well, and then we can both watch the movie pretty much at the same time. And then I'll give my review and then you can be kind of thinking your own review, or like, I don't know if you like want to talk to the camera. That'd be like a little bit weird, but like I don't judge you. I won't judge you, girl. So on today's episode, I'm really excited because I'm going to be watching a movie that I had to look online to watch. So if I got some viruses, you know, I did this for y'all. And on today's episode, I'm going to be watching Call Me By Your Name. I'm pretty sure it's a book, and the only reason why I'm saying that is because when I was Googling it just now, it popped up book underneath, so I'm pretty sure it's a book. I don't know pretty much anything about this movie. I know a little bit as far as the genre. I'm pretty sure it's an LGBT film. Only reason why I'm saying this is because a lot of people on Twitter usually compare it to Moonlight, so I'm pretty sure they're both probably coming of age films dealing with sexuality. But I already Googled the description, so I will be reading it to you guys in 1 second. So I'm on Google and I have the description here. It has a 94% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, so that's actually pretty good. In the summer of 1983,
Okay, so this should take back,
a precocious 17-year-old Elio Perlman is spending the days with his father at his 17th century villa in Lombardy, Italy. Okay. He meets Oliver, a handsome doctoral student who's working as an intern for Elio's father. Amid the sun-drenched splendour of surroundings, Elio and Oliver discover the heady beauty of awakening desire over the course of a summer that will alter their lives forever. Chick is popping, okay? You feel me? This shit is like motherfucking Grease, you feel me? I know that one white boy that all the like girls be swooning over, Timothy Chalamet. I don't know how to say his name, but I know a lot of people think he's cute, so we will see. I'm about to watch the movie. It is 2 hours and 12 minutes, so I'm probably gonna do 4 different check-ins. So I'm about to start the movie and I'll be back in 30 minutes. And yeah.
1 hour later.
Alright y'all, so I'm 30 minutes into Call Me By Your Name. So the film so far just dived immediately into Oliver showing up to Elio's house. And honestly, the movie doesn't tell you exactly that he is the father's intern. Like, they never really make it specifically known. And if I hadn't read the description beforehand, I would have just thought that Oliver was a big ass like foreign exchange student, because like I said, they didn't really tell you who he was. But I do think that the film really sets up the tension and the build up and just like the general layout or feel of the community, the household, his family, his interests, his friends. They give you a lot of details on Elio and like I said, what his life is like. So I like that. And like I said, I think that they put a lot of genuine care into the tension that's building up between Oliver and Elio, because the tension between Oliver and Elio does feel really real. I don't like how in films a lot of times the love interest will feel a little bit forced and you don't even really feel the genuine passion between the two. You just kind of feel like the love interest is there because they kind of have to be there. That's not really the case in this film. I feel like the two actors share a lot of good chemistry, and I feel like genuinely watching the film, you do feel like somebody who feels like they're watching two love interests or two people who have a crush on each other. So I do like that and I appreciate that. So far in the film, you can tell that Elio obviously is feeling some type of way towards Oliver. Oliver would be a little bit flirty with Elio, so it's kind of coming off that he might be feeling some type of way about him. Now, my concern though is the fact that Elio is 17. Obviously, Oliver is older, but I do know that this movie takes place in the 80s, so I don't know if that was that much of a thing back then. The movie hasn't really made it a thing, so I don't know if the movie in general is ever gonna address that whole thing, but yeah, that is there. That's the big ass elephant in the fucking room. The movie is visually really beautiful. Besides that, it is a little bit boring, I'm not going to lie. So we'll see where it goes. I'll be back with you guys in 30 minutes and let you guys know my thoughts.
2 hours later.
Alright, so I'm an hour into Call You. Yo, I cannot get this motherfucking name right. Alright guys, so I'm an hour into Call Me By Your Name, and first things first, the soundtrack to my movie is motherfucking bumping. Like, did y'all hear that? That shit, the motherfucking pianos, the instruments, all that shit, it was hitting. Second, finally things are getting a little bit steamy between Oliver and Elio. Elio is really stepping hard. Like, he's really pulling up on this nigga on some real ass shit. Like, he's shooting his shot like he is Kobe in the 90s. Now, I don't know how I feel about this because it really is a coming of age story. Like, you can really tell that Elio is kind of discovering his sexuality in this film, especially that scene with like the shorts and like the humping the air thing. Like, it was very much like giving me middle school vibes, you feel me? Second of all, I also feel like it was interesting that he had that whole scene with his parents where they were telling him that if he ever had to tell them anything, that he could come to them and that he should always just feel comfortable with them. And pretty much a couple of scenes later, he's coming out to Oliver, basically saying that he's bisexual, instead of telling his parents and saying that basically he feels like Oliver is the only person he can tell. So I feel like that's kind of a theme that sometimes teenagers feel like are in situations where they can't talk to their parents. So they'll instead confide into love interests, and sometimes those love interests might not have their best interests at heart. You can tell that Oliver is trying to somewhat push away the advances, but he's not really trying to push away the advances like that. Like, he just kind of play hard to get. So I do feel like Elio is probably gonna get his heart broken, and I don't know if it's basically from Oliver having to go back to America, I think that's where he's from, or if something's gonna happen with that one girl that was coming to visit Oliver earlier from the party. But overall, I don't really see it ending well. The movie is really slow, so I'm wondering if it's gonna pick up in the next hour, because like I said, we are about an hour into the film. The acting is really good, the chemistry seems really there, especially in that scene with the field. I was like, okay, like so I guess I will see you guys in 30 minutes and I'll let you guys know what I think.
3 hours later.
Alright you guys, so I'm back with another check-in, and it's been another 30 minutes. So Elio and Oliver got it in like I said they was going to. Now, I still feel like okay, so I'm still feeling really weary about Oliver and Elio, and I feel like it mostly has to do with the age. I'm still just watching this like something's about to happen. Like, this isn't sitting well with me. I think that one of the other themes of the film is obviously sexuality, but like fluidity between sexuality. Clearly Elio is bisexual, and I feel like a lot of times on social media you'll see people talk about like, well, how can a guy be bisexual if he's into guys? Like, how can he be into girls? And I feel like they have showed very well how Elio actually is, you know, attracted to the female. I don't really remember her name. They don't really make her much of a main character, but they show that obviously he's very much attracted to her. He's not really just like using her, you know, because he wants to use her as like a cover-up or like a distraction. Like, I mean, it seems like he genuinely is attracted to her. As far as chemistry and intimacy, obviously he's closer with Oliver. I have one more check-in to do. When I come back, I'll be done with the film. But yeah, if I had to choose between Moonlight and Call Me By Your Name, I would have to say that Moonlight is better, just because Moonlight was much more like poppin'. There was much like more shit going on. The mom had a drug problem. He was getting bullied. He was beating niggas' asses. There was drug dealers and shit. Like, it was a lot going on. This is kind of like a little bit slower. Like, it's like statues and you know, lakes and like lots of white people shit. So you know, that's cool though. I guess I'll be back in like 40 minutes and I'll let you guys know what I think of the film.
Later that same evening.
Okay, you guys, so I am done with
Bitch.
I can never get this name right. Okay, you guys, so I am done with Call Me By Your Name. And before I dive into that shit, Call Me By Your Name, like that shit, like the title and that whole little like thing that they was doing by calling each other by their names, it was giving me real like Fault in Our Stars shit.
Okay.
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 the whole little thing that they were saying to each other.
I don't know, that shit was a little bit corny to me, I'm not gonna lie.
Anyways, okay. Oliver was a grimy ass nigga. He was over here playing with niggas' emotions. He was over here playing with Elio, and now he about to go and get married. As far as the plot twist is concerned, I was kind of expecting something similar to that, but it wasn't as dramatic as I expected for some reason. Like, when it happened, the scene wasn't all crazy. It was very silent and slow, and you know, it just kind of happened. I feel really bad for Elio, but I do think that the movie does a really, really good job of portraying somebody's first love and how the first heartbreak feels, and how that whole thing just kind of goes about, like, when you first meet the person, the butterflies you experience, and then afterwards the heartbreak that you experience, because you can definitely tell that Elio is really, really heartbroken by it, and you can really feel the emotions in the acting and everything. It was just a little bit slower than I was expecting, but that's cool. Not every movie is gonna be popping crazy and all types of shit. So I would recommend for other people to watch this movie. And yeah, so let me know what other movies you guys would like for me to see. Let me know what you guys think of the film, and yeah, like, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time on 30-minute check-ins.
12 seconds later.
That's another thing. I'm not ending this video until I talk about it. So this nigga was out here fucking plums. Like, why? What? Like, why did nobody talk about that? Like, whenever people talk about Call Me By Your Name, there is never any type of mention of him sticking his dick inside of a fruit. So why is nobody telling me about this? Like, that was some really freaky shit.